Yo, what is up guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back yet again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys, and it is not my day off, guys. I have been awake for the past 12 to 14 hours, guys. And you know, today though, I wasn't gonna let it slide. I really wanted to make sure that I would make this video because pretty much this fragrance is one of the most anticipated releases of the year. And I know that you guys have been waiting for this, that I would make a no hype review on the latest Creed fragrance that is not Carmina. It is the latest iteration of Aventus. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel. Guys, supporting the channel helps the community, guys, okay? The more numbers we get, the more people really want to join in. And really what I'm noticing now is that we have a lot of members of our community sharing and sending in their decants, actual decanters, expanding their businesses, discounters expanding their businesses through the channel, guys, okay? So just keep supporting by liking, subscribing, watching the ads, and we will continue with all these great no hype reviews. And the fragrance that we will be talking about today is none other than one of the most anticipated fragrances of 2023 to be released in November. So we're getting this a bit early, guys. This is none other than Absolu Aventus. Yes, Creed Absolu Aventus. Holy smokes, guys. And this is a sample with Absolu Aventus engraved on it. So this is an official sample, guys. And if you guys are curious where I got this official sample, and they do have bottles as well, early releases, you can get it at Venba Fragrances, guys, okay? So I've been with Venba ever since the beginning of the channel, guys, but now I'm pretty happy that they're selling samples and early releases as well, guys. I really see everything going that direction. Like with all the hype, there's gonna be these early releases, and that's going to be very exciting for the entire community, guys. So again, Venba Fragrances, I want to thank Kushik for sending this really quickly, guys. Okay, so let's talk about Aventus Absolu. Now, one of the things that made the release of Absolu Aventus really interesting was the release of Carmina by Creed. And that was like, what, a month ago, guys? And Carmina, in my opinion, number one, was a great fragrance for fall winter, but also that with the performance of Carmina being really excellent and having that new different flavor compared to other Creed fragrances, I was thinking that, you know what, that's gonna put Creed in the right direction. Like Creed, with the release of Carmina, everything was gonna go the right direction. And with the acquisition of Kering, I was thinking, man, you know, there's no way to go but up, guys, okay? So Aventus Absolu is like right after that. And so I was really interested on how they were going to carry it right here. Now, also before Venba though, there were some people that got to try this fragrance early. I'm not going to name names, but to me, they're called the gatekeepers, right? They're the gatekeepers because they had this early, about a month and a half, and I've been desperately trying to get a decant or a sample out of them. I couldn't get it. And they said a lot of things about this fragrance that I'm really gonna verify with you guys today, guys, okay? So one of the things is that this doesn't smell like Aventus. This doesn't smell like Aventus at all, that if you're an Aventus head, you're not gonna get the same thing at all. And some people are saying, is it even worth, you know, the limited bottle price? I think it was $400 for the bottle, considering what it is, a collectible, or is it really like a great smelling fragrance, guys, okay? But mostly people were saying, the performance is really good. It's great. There's grapefruit. And then, you know, it doesn't smell like Aventus at all. So for today, after all the testing is done, I will give you guys the complete breakdown, the lowdown on Absolu Aventus by Creed, guys. This sample is near dead. I wore this last night and the previous nights. So I have been testing it more than the usual, guys. Okay, so I can give you guys a complete breakdown. Let's go spray this thing right now. Okay guys, now let's talk about the latest and most hyped fragrance right now, Creed Absolu Aventus. Now forget all the words that were said about this fragrance. Let's get into it right here. Right here in the opening, the notes you're gonna get are bergamot, grapefruit, and blackcurrant, guys. Okay, now when I sprayed this thing right here, my instant feeling was like, oh, it smells like Aventus. That was my first thing, because the thing that welcomes you is that instant combination of bergamot and blackcurrant. Okay, and that is a very Aventus-y combination, guys. I mean, most of the clones that I know really hit hard on the bergamot blackcurrant combo to really make people feel that they are smelling Aventus. And so with that bergamot and blackcurrant together, yes, I felt like I smelled Aventus for a minute right there, guys. Okay, and this opening is very similar to that bergamot blackcurrant combo in Aventus. No pineapple, but that's precisely what the grapefruit is for. So the grapefruit right here, guys, is actually not a tart, bitter grapefruit whatsoever. It's actually an uplifting grapefruit that, in my opinion, I mean, after trying multiple Aventus clones all week, this is your uplifting note right here, guys. But nevertheless, like I said, the opening might remind you of classic Aventus. Now, here's the thing, guys. This stage with your bergamot, blackcurrant, and ginger didn't even last more than 5 minutes. That's the thing. It didn't even last more than 5 minutes on its own. And, you know, that made me think, like, man, like, was that it? Was that just like a taste that they gave us, somewhat Aventus-y in the beginning? Because, I mean, at least to me, what I want is at least 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes of an opening stage for me to really say that it is a stage, right? But this is not a stage. You basically got a sniff, a whiff for 5 minutes of something really Aventus-y with some uplifting grapefruit. And then the next stage happens, guys, okay? Within 5 minutes of this fragrance, it jumps in straight into the next stage. And this is something I've tested over and over, same result, guys. And what is that next stage? So once the next stage popped up, I was driving my car, I was on my way to work, and, you know, I'm supposed to be happy and excited about this fragrance. But once this part came up, I was actually like upset. I kind of became upset. I became more and more upset, actually. And that's because the mid, which starts off in 5 minutes, envelopes these citrusy notes, is going to be your Dior Sauvage Elixir Mid. Dior Sauvage Elixir Mid. And I was like, oh my God, I had just talked to one of my friends, and, you know, we don't have these like standings in the fragrance community. We really don't care what our standing is in the fragrance community. But we were talking about it, and he said, before all of this, he said, well, you know, I mean, I'm excited about it, but I hope it doesn't turn out smelling like Dior Sauvage Elixir. And actually, to me, it was kind of like a joke. So like we kind of laughed about it. But the thing is, it is Dior Sauvage Elixir. And even on the notes, it's literally there. You've got your cardamom, your cinnamon, and your ginger. Precisely the Dior Sauvage Elixir formula. Okay, and that pops up as soon as 5 minutes, envelopes this thing, and the grapefruit is going to be your uplifting balancer that takes the place of the lavender. Okay, if that makes sense, guys. And so I got upset because I was in contact and I was reading all this brouhaha from these gatekeepers from like a month ago, talking about all sorts of things about this fragrance, when they could have just said something like that. Like, hey, you know what? It's kind of like Dior Sauvage Elixir. But they chose not to because they wanted to hype this fragrance up, and they want to keep up with being a gatekeeper, being someone that knows something that other people don't. So I hope those guys got their 15 minutes of fame, because now their reputation is over. Because obviously, guys, nobody, there's no one in the fragrance community, you know, that hasn't smelled Dior Sauvage Elixir or actually knows that. So unless those people don't know what that is, which I doubt, or like I said, they were just making it all up just to hype this thing up. But definitely, I will say this, guys, in a no hype manner, It's Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, what's the difference compared to the actual Dior Sauvage Elixir? Number one, Dior Sauvage Elixir is a powerful one. It is thick. It is powerful, guys, and it's nuclear. To me, it's nuclear, guys. And you know, this formula has been copied by clones as well, and they've done a pretty damn good job doing so. This Dior Sauvage Elixir-ish one does have grapefruit as the lingering balancer. So that's one difference. It's not really a curve feel as if it's going into a fade to black, a warming transition, thick, fall-winter-ish. It's actually more of an aromatic, sweet, spicy mix that is light. It's soft. It's not really thick. And then you have the lingering grapefruit still there to keep it upbeat. Again, in place of something like pineapple, you have lingering, uplifting grapefruit, guys. But nevertheless, again, you will smell pretty much Dior Sauvage Elixir in a very soft, light aromatic amount, guys. And so again, that kind of upset me that a lot of these hype boys really never discussed that, and they were like, you know, making us go different ways by saying all these cryptic messages about this fragrance. But yeah, that's really what it is. And it comes in as early as 5 minutes and it lasts more than several hours. Okay, that's a while. And I mean, you can say that that kind of defines the fragrance. Now this mid though, I'm gonna say, can be slightly different in the way that it is more of like an upscale version that is not really designer-ish. It's not really like pushy or punchy or nuclear. And so in a way, it's more of like a draw-in aromatic scent. So it's more of like an upscale grabber to me. Definitely still with that Dior Sauvage Elixir smell, but you know, with some modifications. You've got grapefruit lingering around there that you might like instead of the lavender, which is pretty predictable when it comes to designer scents. So it's got that little upscale niche feel right there, guys, and it is a draw-in scent too as well. Now let me tell you this, guys, that this one right here is not a weak scent. So this sprayer really is pretty weak, and so every time I tested this, I went with like 9 to 10 sprays, and I always got a nice aura scent in the beginning, guys. And I always got compliments, of course, because Dior Sauvage Elixir always gets compliments. And also that Bergamot in the beginning gets compliments as well. So this one definitely has a high compliment factor if that's what you're looking for, because, well, it's a combination of, you know, what Aventus can do and what Dior Sauvage Elixir can do. So that's not a problem right there. The big problem is this part, like I said, lasts very, very long. So it goes from 5 minutes all the way to past 7 hours, guys. Okay, this mid of cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger. I don't know if that's okay with you guys, but you know, if you own Gisada, if you own Dior Sauvage Elixir or the clones, yeah, that would be an issue, okay? But if it's not, that's great, because you're gonna get it for hours and hours. Now, why do I say 7 hours? That's because the actual mid bleeds into the Drydown. And in the Drydown, you are going to have the notes of pink pepper, patchouli, as well as vetiver, which is the star of the show, of the Drydown of Aventus Absolute. And that is really the differentiator between this one and Dior Sauvage Elixir, that you are going to get a vetiver-centric ending that really completes the gent scent profile of Absolu Aventus. And I must say, I do like this Drydown. Of course, you'll still have the Dior Sauvage Elixir smell bleed into it, like I said, 7 hours into the scent, but eventually vetiver will reign supreme and will take the spotlight right here. And you have these blend-in notes that are basically continuity notes. I mean, you do have pink pepper, you have the spike of patchouli to continue on the spice, the spike, all the way into the Drydown, bleeding in seamlessly, like I said. And vetiver is also sweet, so you do have that sweetness. However, there's that smokiness, there's that earthiness from vetiver that really makes this very much a gent scent all the way into the Drydown. Still smelling sweet and spicy though, but with a lot more vetiver here, guys. And so this Drydown lasts a while as well. So when I tried this fragrance, this Drydown extended all the way to past 13 hours, which makes this the most potent, long-lasting Aventus scent in my book, because a lot of the OG Aventuses I've tried really never lasted that long. This one I could smell in a very nice, aromatic, consistent, lingering scent past the 12-hour mark. So Carmina, they did very well on the performance. Absolu Aventus, they did very well on the performance as well. Ultimately, I see Creed Absolu Aventus as a fragrance that will have, you know, divisive effects on the community. I think people will like this. I think there's going to be an amount of people that will truly like this, even if there's a big chunk of it that smells like Dior Sauvage Elixir, because there are a lot of people that buy fragrances because of the effectiveness. Are these fragrances effective? Do they perform well? Do they create compliments? Do they make you feel good? I mean, this fragrance checks it all off for me, because it is basically a hybrid or an enhancement of original formulas that have already happened before. And I mean, by God, we've seen other companies like Boudicca, for example, do these things. And you know what? When they do hybrids, people love them. When they improve on a certain fragrance, people dig them and they still buy them. It doesn't hurt their profile or image really. And so I think results-wise, Absolu Aventus can do it for you. Now, if you have, like I said, Dior Sauvage Elixir, or you've purchased clones for much less, this might be an issue, guys, because this fragrance is not cheap. I believe it's $400 retail, and maybe it's like $250, $350 on the gray market or on the early discounters market, guys. I'm not sure. Go to Venba, by the way. I have a link to order all these things. Anyways, my point is that if you're a seasoned guy and you're expecting a whole lot out of this fragrance, I guarantee you it'll probably piss you off, because it's not gonna be what you thought it would be. But the thing is, guys, you know, when it comes to this fragrance community, you can really never make everyone happy. Creed is very much aware of this, and I think that they made a fragrance that they felt people could use, people could love. And you know, they put it in a very expensive limited edition bottle, but I think that's really the mission. And if that's the case, mission accomplished for them, guys, okay? But for me, I think this fragrance is gonna create some really divided opinions in the fragrance community, guys, okay? So ultimately though, very long lasting, compliment getting, great hybridized enhancement perfume is what I got right here. I would only buy it for collectability's sake and usability's sake. Okay, that's why I would buy it. Right now, I wouldn't, but I know that a lot of people will, guys. Okay, so that is it. That is my review on this fragrance, Absolu Aventus by Creed, the latest release right here. Again, thank you to Kushik and Venba for sending this early. And I cannot believe I'm doing this review. You know, I'm still awake right now, 14 hours, and I still have to go to work later, guys. Okay, so if you like this review, this honest review, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, and support the channel in any way that you can, guys. If you have some fragrances you would like me to review, let me know on the comments below, or comment yourself if you have tried this fragrance. If you felt the same way, guys, let me know in the comments below, guys. And again, I'll see you guys on the next video. Night night for me. Thank you very much for watching. God bless. Take care. Peace.